Hey, what's up everyone? Happy Friday. A wonderful day here in the Bay Area. Today's topics, we'll be talking about on-page optimization and traffic research secrets by Lancheres. Don't forget to visit today's sponsor, hrefs.com/AWT. How's everyone doing out there? Don't be shy, guys. Say hi in the live chat. So today we'll be talking about on-page optimization and traffic research secrets by Lancheres. Today's sponsor, hrefs.com/AWT. Dan, what's up, my man? Where's everyone from? Don't be shy. Say hi in live chat. Today's topics, we'll be talking about on-page optimization, traffic research secrets, with today's guest, Lancheres. How are you guys doing today? I see a bunch of you out there. Don't be shy. Say hi. Hobby has a joke. Why American rapper Snoop Dogg is tall on YouTube video clips? Because he is high on high ranking in Google. Stefan, hi from Bosnia. Don't forget to get your questions ready. Anything on-page optimization, backlinks, we got it all. Today's topics, we got on-page optimization and traffic research secrets. Today's special guest is Lancheres. Don't forget to visit today's sponsor, hrefs.com/AWT. I see Eric in the background. What's up, Eric, my man? Oh wait, you sound a little like robotic. Let me see. Yeah, you sound a little robotic. Don't be shy, guys. Say hi in the live chat. It still sounds like robotic. Yeah, so, it kind of sounds like maybe like a wire may not be pushed all the way in because it kind of sounds staticky. Okay. Ernesto, what's up, my man? What's up, Dre and Eric? Looking forward to the show. All right, guys, we got about 5 more minutes to go. Eric's setting up his mic right now. While you're waiting in the live chat, don't forget to say hi and where you're from. Today we'll be talking about on-page optimization and traffic research secrets. Don't forget to visit our sponsor, hrefs.com/AWT. Oh yeah, happy Friday, y'all. It's a wonderful day here in the Bay Area. Let me know where you're from. Oh, you're totally muted now. I can't hear not a single, no, there's no sound coming out on your end. I can see you fine.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, but I don't think I'm using my studio mic. I think I'm using my laptop mic now.
Okay, yeah, but that works. Oh, wait.
Okay, let me just try the studio one more time, okay?
Okay, sounds good. All right, guys, we got less than 4 minutes to go. Don't be shy. Say hi in the live chat. Kobe, happy Friday. What's up, my man? Oh, I hear the static again. Yeah. Hannah Becker. Hi, guys. Happy Friday. Glenn, what's up, dog? Stefan, what's up? Happy Friday, brother.
Run this again.
Yep. There you go. Sounds good.
Oh, it's good now.
Yeah. Sounds.
Oh, it's okay. This is great. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Because it was the USB port that I had plugged in.
Oh, no. You sound really good now.
Oh, perfect. All right. I'm ready.
Love it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. All right. So, Eric, what I do is I kind of go over a couple videos in the very beginning. Like, I go over 4 videos, and I'll introduce you in about maybe 8 minutes in. And everyone's in the live chat right now. They're saying, what's up to you? If you want to log on to YouTube, just go on mute and on the YouTube so you can, we don't get any feedback. But I will introduce you in about 8 minutes after we start.
Sounds great.
All right.
Let's rock and roll.
All right. Brian, what's up, my man? Eric's in the live chat. What's up, everyone? Have fun. We're going to have fun today. All right, guys. Don't forget today's topics. We'll be talking about on-page optimization, some traffic research secrets with Eric Lancheres. Don't forget to visit our sponsor, hrefs.com/AWT. Let's go, guys. Let me know where you're from. Hobby, high five SEO around the world. Happy Friday, brother. All right, you got about 1 more minute to get your shouts out. Say what's up in the live chats before we get started. Oh, yeah. Happy Friday, y'all. This is going to be fun. Get your questions ready. All right, guys. I'm about to slow down the music. Y'all ready? Happy Friday.
Yeah. Hey, time to get it started, no delay, let's work. Wanna see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre De Vera, steady dropping knowledge. Over 15 years in the game, so he knows all about it. Master the art of SEO, you will be amazed. Time to get your brand off page to on page. Dropping knowledge, legendary for sure. Whether you're just getting started or self-employed entrepreneur. Yeah, let's go. Subscribe to the SEO video show. Hey.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the SEO video show where SEO is alive and fun. My name is Paul Andre De Vera, aka Dre, and I curate SEO videos released in the past week into about 1-minute clips. My favorite part of the show is when I get to introduce my guest, and my guest this week is the founder of Traffic Research, Eric Lancheres. Before we get started, let's say what's up to everyone in chat. I see Eric, Brian, Stefan, Dan, Hobby, Ernesto, Kobe, Hannah, Glenn, Nubia. Oh my God, so much of you go out there. Don't forget to say hi in the live chat when you come in, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Now let's get on with the show.
This is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. Why do SEOs love the farmer's market? Lots of organic content.
All right, Google just posted a new blog on the Google Search Central blog titled Optimizing Website Performance with a Search Console Bubble Chart. Okay, you can analyze search performance data is always a challenge, right? But even with more, you can use plenty of long tail queries which are such harder for to visualize and understand. So the post provides tips and helps you uncover opportunities to optimize your site's Google search performance. Okay, Chase Rayner started a new stream called the SEO Guru stream. Let's check it out.
Always like to do though is run PPC to find good keywords, and because Search Console gives you really good information in terms of like the impressions and doing that type of optimizations, but PPC is going to tell you some different things too. So I like doing that model approach and then using the keywords for those pages depending on search. Like for example, recently I've been learning a little bit more about metaverse. Brett, I've seen you've been posting some stuff about it too, so I'm sure you're researching it too. And for my class, I ran ads to find out different ways people search for certain metaverses and kind of what's the dominant. And PPC was able to tell me that very quickly. So every time you're in a new market, people just search things differently. So it's easy to optimize for the wrong keywords. But another thing that's been working significantly well is featured snippets for us, because a lot of the content, especially for these local pages, a lot of people won't even do 10 to 15 frequently asked questions on a page using the keywords they found in Search Console. And so for a lot of times, clients, when you show them that result, they go crazy for it. And usually they're really not that competitive of keywords.
All right, my SEO strategy always includes PPC. I mean, this is in my 15 plus years of enterprise SEO, I've always used PPC to help support my SEO campaigns. Okay, you can actually find these keywords in your search terms report in Google Ads. Okay, how to get featured snippets by Bill Hartzer. Let's check this out.
You know, in my opinion, that's going to be the first thing you're going to need to get done is get a first page ranking for that keyword. While John Mueller says that there's no technical method, based on my experience is that if you mark up the page properly, and like I said, when I mentioned that is if you're doing, making sure that you have things like, H1 tags and, an H1 tag, H2, H3, H4 tags, that you're making use of, a bulleted list. So if you do have a bulleted list on your page, that it is marked up with a, bulleted list would be a UL HTML code with a line item LI and and with those tags on these, ordered lists. I do like, certain pages to use a table of contents and have that added to the page.
Schema markup is something we all constantly preach here on the SEO video show. I mean, there are free schema generators like technicalseo.com, so be sure to check that one out. Speaking of schema, Johnny Ross was on the Rank Ranger this past week, and he gave us 3 options and steps on how to implement schema. Let's check it out.
I think there's 3 options in how you implement schema. You've got sort of an old-fashioned way, which is hard code. So that's about wrapping schema around content, it literally in the code of the website. The other option you've got is using plugins. So there's a lot of plugins available. Some of them are great, some of them aren't. Depending on the website, you might not even be using WordPress, but there's certainly Shopify plugins as well, and Drupal plugins and Joomla plugins. But depending on how your website's been built and the theme depends on which plugins work, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's difficult to recommend the best one, but certainly that sort of second option is to use plugins to implement schema. The third option, which I'm hugely favoring, and perhaps a mixture of option 2 and 3 to be fair, but the third option is using tools like WordLift and InLinks. And InLinks is my absolutely favorite tool at the moment. I just love it, and it's basically a bit of JavaScript, add it to the website, and that enables the code to be layered on top of the website but loaded immediately at the same time that the website's loaded. So that makes it a lot easier. Imagine it a bit like Google Tag Manager.
Okay, another tool you can implement schema with is something called Schema App. And in exactly 1 month, we'll have the CEO, Martha Van Berkel, on the show to talk more about it. Okay, Aaron Sparks shares his thoughts on the recent thin content question John Mueller was asked in the latest Google Hangouts. Let's check this one out.
Somebody was actually asking about thin content, and the fact of the matter, it's not about, he got continually hung up on word count. We're not in the word count or keyword density space anymore in SEO. It's topics, it's subject matter, it's relevancy. This is where it should be all the time. And on top of it, it's also not an HTML to content ratio either. That's been debunked. So the thin content concept is something of, if you're not substantially writing about subject matter that you're trying to rank for, why would you think that you would? If you have content that's just not there collectively on your website, you're not buoyant enough. You're not valuable enough for a consumer. So it's not.
You know who can give us a little more about thin content is our guest today. But before we get started, before I introduce our guest, here's a little quick word from our sponsors. Are you sick of your competitors outranking you in the search results? Your solution is Ahrefs Webmaster Tools, and it's free $99. This isn't one of your 14-day free trial offers. Instead, it's a super powerful tool that'll do a full website audit for you and keep working for you for free. It'll scan your site and prioritize precisely what you need to fix and improve for your search results. Visit ahrefs.com webmaster-tools for this free tool. Find the link below, and by checking our sponsors, you support this show. Now let's introduce our guest.
Eric has been an ex-affiliate marketer turned SEO researcher, speaker, and coach since 2006. He's one of the most respected SEO experts around the world. He has been featured in Authority at the Traffic and Conversion Summit, SEO Rockstars, and countless other interviews and podcasts. He's the owner of Traffic Research, a membership site online business looking to help improve their rankings. He usually commands $1,000 per hour for his rates and has now automated his expert processes inside On-Page.ai technology. Please welcome Eric Lancheres.
Eric, my man, how are you doing today?
Hey, good. Nice to see you finally. Or just have a good show today.
Love it, love it, love it. Welcome to the show. All right, I'm going to go right into it. This is the first question I ask all my SEO professionals right when they come on. In 1 minute or less, how does Eric get ranking on page 1 of Google?
If you want long-term rankings, you got to build the best page for that query on the internet. That's the easiest thing. And it puts the onus on Google because Google wants to essentially return the best pages. So if you build the best page, you already have a huge advantage. Then you need to put that page on a domain with enough topical authority for whatever category you're trying to rank. And if you don't rank already, then you just need to build supporting content, which will also include backlinks to that thing. However, I do have a bonus for you if you want to rank within 24 hours. If you want to rank within 24 hours, let's say I had to, for pretty much any keyword, you put out a press release and you optimize that press release with essentially SEO, title tag, content, related entities, everything. Then you need to publish it on a major news agency. So one of the bigger ones. They're expensive, but that will get you for pretty much any keyword. And if it doesn't pop up as news, then you could send micro workers to do searches. And then search for your keyword, then go into the news tab, click on your news article, and then soon enough, that news article will end up popping up. And within 24 hours, you're there. So there's the long-term way, and then there's the short burst if you absolutely need to be there for a keyword.
Damn! Wow, what a knowledge bomb right there. Thank you for dropping that real quick. But you know what? Let's rewind this real quick. Eric, take us way back. Way back. What made you first get interested in SEO?
SEO it's just fun. I mean, you want to work from your laptop, you want to work from anywhere. SEO is a game that you play with an engine. And I love the fact that SEO doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care who I am. It doesn't care where I'm from. It doesn't care my education or anything else. The level of the playing field is even for everyone across the world. So you go in, you play that game. And the best thing is when you win at that game, you make a lot of money. So for me, it just seemed like a win-win-win.
Love it. Okay. So when you did that and it's something that's fun, but so how'd you even learn it? When you first started?
Oh, well, it started with affiliate marketing, and I needed to build up my sites and figure out how to make money from this. So you start reading learning from everyone, reading from everyone. And soon enough, I actually ended up being part of SEO masterminds. So SEO masterminds, SEO groups is the best place to get your kind of wealth of knowledge. And then you got to go and test. So then once you get a whole bunch of ideas, insights, and what's working, what's not, then you go out, you test it for yourself. And then finally, the cherry on top is you start reverse engineering what is working online. So what are the things I used to do a lot was I would look up the top ranking sites for buy a Viagra or buy gold or all the top terms, whatever, the ones that are really competitive. And using Ahrefs, sponsor of the show, right? I would actually spend hours looking at what they were doing, the pages they were building, the links they were doing, everything. I would break that down and I would learn from that. So that, and the only other way I learned of SEO was by reading patents as well, Google patents, search engine patents, and testing, and so a mix of all of that. So you learn from great people, you test things for yourself, you look at who's at the winners, and then you reverse engineer it.
Love it. I'm a big fan of masterminds myself. I mean, this show was actually kind of conceptualized within a mastermind I was in, and it's something where you can meet with great people with great minds with one purpose to help each other out. I mean, great stuff. I mean, is there any certain masterminds that are still around that you are in? As what are some masterminds that people can join?
I used to be in so many masterminds, online and also in person. I think you're in California, right? Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of good masterminds down there. And what I used to do, they're not around anymore. So now it's more, I'm sure there still are. I'm just not part of any direct ones. I'm part of there's a lot of SEO groups now. So there's just paid groups. And I love YouTube and I love everything. But with SEO, there's some secrets you can't share because once they're out there, then Google patches them or everyone jumps on. So it's the private stuff that gives you an edge, the stuff that is behind closed doors that honestly, it just gives you an edge. There's no other way around it. If you have information that no one else has, you could take advantage of that.
Love it. Yes. Which takes me to something, I think something that you have going on here. You have a membership site. So this is not something it's almost could be like a mastermind, right? I mean, you're coming in with a group of people who join your site, and it's called Traffic Research. And I'm curious, tell us more about Traffic Research and how was it started?
Honestly, it came out because I used to be A long time ago, I was known as the guy that recovered Google sites from Google algorithm updates. So I was when Panda hit a long time ago, I reversed that, and I was able to recover sites. And then people wanted to learn how to recover sites. I ended up helping people over a long period of time on how to recover sites, and that turned into a private membership where I would help people recover sites. And then that transformed into me teaching SEO and doing research and sharing secrets of like things that I found. And in these days, we've actually closed it. We didn't close it down. We made it application only. So we don't accept everyone, and it makes it even more like mastermindy, more unique. And that's where we kind of share trainings every week. And I share my findings. Other people share things as well, and it's kind of it's like a virtual mastermind if you want to think about it that way.
Love it. And then I just even look at the thumbnails of the traffic research site. I mean, you can see so many things. I mean, if you're willing to share like a few of these things, I mean, there's one that actually kind of stood out too, because you were actually talking about patents. You said you're learning from new patents. I see something, the patent whisper link technique. That caught my eye. I'm curious if you can share that one, because I mean, you're talking about patents, and I'm curious about that one.
Okay, for sure. That's one. I'm a big believer. And there is no right way to do SEO. There are so many ways of doing SEO. There's the white hat, gray hat, black hat. The patent technique is actually completely white hat. And I'll tell you what it is I broke down step by step the most efficient way to take a patent and make a general news article about it. So in every single industry, there's always new patents, new discoveries coming out. They're all published in Google Scholar. You can actually search by date in Google Scholar, see all the newest patents coming out in your industry. So CBD or tech or cell phones or whatever new patent is. You find a patent that was just published that is super interesting, and no one reads patents. So what you do is then you create a general news article about it, like just a general article. You put it on your site and you share it on social media. Next thing you know, you're going to get hundreds of incoming links back to your site discussing this patent. So you've essentially created an incredible piece of link bait or link magnet or whatever you want to call it. It works in every single industry, and then you could automate it, not automate it in the sense that you have a robot doing it, but you could train someone to do this over and over again and build a massive amount of links by using essentially what's free content and just repurposing it. So that's the patent linking technique.
Wow, that was a knowledge bomb right there. I love that. It makes a lot of sense too, because I mean, it's sometimes it's hard to understand these patents, and if you just kind of just write about it and just talk a little about it, and people will share it. Love it. Okay, so I mean, we have a question that came in here. It says, Maddox Frey, are you still doing affiliate SEO? Any tips for newbies?
Oh, I am doing affiliate SEO. You never stop, right? You have to keep on going. And tips for newbies, the best thing I could say is these days, build a site that is focused on one specific industry and kind of become an expert in it, and do publish the best content on that. So that is, instead of going general and trying to cover everything, Google's rewarding Google's rewarding topical authority a lot these days, and they're rewarding a lot of content. So you want to publish a lot of content on one subject, and your site will grow quicker and more than like if you're trying to just go for a whole bunch of keywords. The next thing I'm going to say is if you're doing reviews, one of the best things, especially after the latest product review updates by Google, is take your own original images with a cell phone. So if you want to do affiliate marketing, a lot of the times you're going to have review pages, which is going to be best reviews or best whatever. I ranked for so many review and affiliate terms. And one of the advantages you could have is you buy the product and you take cell phone pictures of it on a table. And these days, especially after the product review update by Google that was just released, original images are killing it. So a lot of content, original images, prove that you're the best, and have a site that's focused exclusively or like more narrowly focused. And you're going to beat people that have been doing it for 10 years, because people that have been doing it for a decade a lot of times have bad habits. So if you come in fresh, you have a big opportunity.
Man, you are on fire right now. Let me put some of that smoke out of there. All right. Okay, we had Red Project in here. It says he loves that. Man, you're just dropping so many knowledge bombs right now. But if you guys have any more questions, go ahead and ask in the live chat, because I want to keep on going on some of these traffic research findings that you have that you're willing to share here. Because I know.
For sure.
Because I mean, you said right now it's interview only. So I mean, there's anything that people that you look for that can be, you have to be accepted in? Why is it just like, yeah?
I can't share every security measures. Essentially, what we want to do is we want to find good people that are a good fit that we could help, that people could take advantage of it. So you need to have a website. That's going to be number one. And then you need to come from a specific place, because SEO industry is amazing, but there's also there are a few bad actors inside the SEO industry. So it's all about creating a community that is a good community, a community you want to talk to every single day. Because I log in every single day, so the people that are inside, I want to hang out with them and I'll be friends. And I know pretty much everyone that's inside of it. So that's kind of the essence. Even with this show, I'm sure you see the same people coming in week after week in your chat, and you get to know them. So that's the community I want to build, and the community that we have built over the past decade almost.
Excellent.
Love that. Okay, so I mean, one of the top topics that we always talk about here on the show is click-through rate. And I saw also on one of your thumbnails, you have something here where it's a new CTR tactic with meta descriptions. I mean, are you willing to share that little secret with us?
We have so many click-through rates tactics and different meta description tactics. Meta descriptions, I will usually increase you can increase the click-through rate. However, these days when I'm working on click-through rate, I'm doing it in short bursts, because I found that click-through or any type of click-through rate manipulation will work for the duration that you do it. But when you stop doing it, it actually could send a negative signal to Google, because if you're getting a whole bunch of clicks if you're getting a whole bunch of clicks for a single week, and then you stop getting clicks, Google says, okay, well, what happened to this website? Is it no longer relevant? Is it no longer applicable? So what I typically will boost or use click-through rate services such as micro workers, or I'll get people to go and do searches, or I have an automated phone service, like a virtual, you could emulate phones. If you're going to use one of those techniques, I typically will use them during the holidays for affiliate terms. So during Black Friday, or right before Black Friday, or during Christmas time, and you shoot up, and it's kind of like a churn and burn type of idea where you will shoot up, and then after you stop it, it's going to go back down. So those are going to be the click-through rate tactics that I use, and I use them in short bursts when I need them the most to make the most amount of money.
Love that. We got more questions coming in here from the audience. We got one from Stefan. He's here every week, and he asks, hi, Eric.
Yes, Stefan. How
would you help an e-commerce site to promote a new collection that just launched?
Okay, well, I've had 2 e-commerce stores, and I've consulted with hundreds of e-commerce stores as well. So everyone takes a different approach. In terms of e-commerce specific things, one of the things I always like to do is I always like to work with the manufacturers. Manufacturers tend to have big websites. They tend to be established, and I get links from them, from the manufacturers. So for instance, Razer is a peripheral maker. So they make gaming and computer. They make laptops. They make all kinds of things. So when I was working with a computer store, I got all the other computer manufacturers to link back to that e-commerce store, which gave it a long-term. It's still ranking today. It's been it gave it a huge boost because you got all the industry to link back to the store. So that's, in terms of e-commerce, that's usually the first thing I do. So if you're launching a new collection of something with someone from a manufacturer, then I would definitely dive into that. Otherwise, e-commerce stores, one of the best things that you could do is you're going to be linking a lot of times to your category page. So that's kind of an underutilized thing. You could build a whole bunch of links to the category pages for category terms, and then everything will rank within your e-commerce store where the link juice will kind of flow through. So those are general tips for e-commerce. If you have something specific, I'm happy to jump in. We've done so many.
Love it. Okay, yeah, we have him some more questions coming in here. We have one from Sack Lane Hater. How to build good level topical relevance. Example, laptop affiliate niches.
Okay, so topical relevance is going to be, laptop affiliate niches. That is going to be, it's a big topic. However, the simplest way is just add more content that doesn't necessarily overlap. So it doesn't cannibalize your existing content. You don't want to write about the same thing over and over and over again, but you want to add related content. So if you're talking about laptops, you're going to be talking about all the laptop brands, and then you're going to expand on there. And one of the big revelations or big things, big trends in 2022 is that people are producing a lot of content. Like I used to think a lot of content was like 1 post a day, 2 posts a day. And now people are going, I just did a case study. People are posting 5, 6, 7 articles per day on their site, and they're growing at ridiculous rates. So the level of content and production is really going up. So if you want to build a topical site, especially in the laptop industry, that could be very competitive. You need to see what the laptop sites are doing and outdo them. So it's really covering different topics. There are tools, of course, that can help you figure out the words that you want to write about, the things you want to write about. But in terms of just building the topical relevance, that is it. It is going to be producing a lot of content that doesn't necessarily overlap, but is very similar or in the same niche, essentially.
Love it. Okay, so another thing I talk about here on the show, and I'm a very, very big fan of, and I always promote this, is the use of schema. Are you a fan of schema? Do you use schema? Do you feel like it helps with rankings?
I believe that yes, of course, schema helps with rankings. And we actually had, this is the craziest thing, we actually were taking advantage of the FAQ schema. We had an FAQ auto generator, and you could I essentially created a plugin, and you could turn it on. It would create schema FAQs for every single page on your website automatically. And we saw about a 10 to 15% increase overnight with this type of schema. So that's not to say that this is the way to go, like the auto generator thing, but it does work, does provide a huge boost. However, we use plugins essentially. That's how we do it. However, one of the things that I want to mention is that Google understands, and Google wants to reward the mom and pop shop on the internet. So Google's AI is very good at understanding structure inside the content. So you don't necessarily need to go into all the code. And if you structure things properly, I actually call this term Google food. So I structure things in a specific way where Google could pick it up, and it's close to the equivalent of schema, especially if you want to rank in the search snippet. So I'll give you a very simple example. If you want to get a search snippet, one of the easy structures you could use is you have a subheadline that answers the question that's being asked and the keyword. You have a paragraph of text, so it's going to be H2, then it's a paragraph of text, and then you put an image with the file name, with an image with the name of whatever you want to rank for. So you sandwich it. You put an H2, a paragraph, and an image, and that is a kind of a structured data, which is essentially schema, that Google will pick up. So you don't necessarily always need to have schema code on your page. If you structure things in a proper way, it'll be not exactly the same. You still sometimes need schema, but it'll be kind of a substitute where it could help alleviate some of that. So that's my long, convoluted answer to schema. It's great, but you don't need to use it.
Love it, man. That's some excellent stuff there. I mean, I never thought of that. So you use like H2, paragraph of text, and an image, and you don't even have to use schema, and that can also pull out some feature snippets. Have you seen
exactly.
that? Nice.
There's a whole bunch of patterns that we went through. We spent months going through all the different patterns and the structures that Google's AI will pick up, because Google understands that not everyone is going to go start coding schema, but Google's objective is still to reward the best page. So if it finds this structure, or it finds different types of structures online for types of content, it wants to return that, even though the person was not necessarily a best programmer in the world. They still want to give them a chance. So another structure I could just share with you is you have the H2, then you have a bullet list of usually around 6 to 8 items, and then you close it off with an image. So if you use that structure, that's another kind of structure that Google understands, and that will return a lot of featured snippets as well. And you're just going to get all the advantages, or a lot of advantages, without using as much code. So I don't want to say it's a complete substitute, because I do know schema is powerful, but it is one of the ways that you could just do it without much programming knowledge.
Oh man, this is stuff I've never heard before. I love that. So I think I'm seeing a pattern here. Maybe sandwiching things with an H2s and images. Oh, I love that. It's a lot of testing I need to do here. Okay, so I want to get into. We're getting a lot of questions on topical relevance, keyword clusters, and tools, which brings me to kind of like something that you've actually started, right? I mean, you've actually created a tool around topical relevance, and does it cluster keywords? Does it kind of do that?
We don't do keyword clustering, but we do tell you the category of keywords, which is something unique and something that no other tool does.
Got it. Okay, so I want to say, okay, since you don't do clusterings, well, your tool doesn't do clusterings. Red Project asks here, Eric, if you do, what keyword cluster tool do you use and why?
We've actually used a keyword cluster tool that integrates with Ahref. So you take the Ahref list and then you put a keyword cluster. I forget what it's called. Actually, I forget what the tool is called. I actually have a training about it right here. I'll look up the tool. I can't remember what the tool is called, but there are a whole bunch of tools. I know Keyword Cupid does it, and I know there's a whole bunch of other tools that do it. Essentially, the idea behind keyword clustering is going to be to take a whole bunch of keywords and then not overlap. So a whole bunch of related keywords that don't overlap. So it takes a whole bunch of, what you want to avoid is writing about the same thing over and over again. And some keywords are too similar. So if you say how to buy gold or how to get gold, that might be the same thing. So you want to expand on a topic. So best places to mine gold might be a different topic even though the keywords are very similar. So there are tools that do that. I've used one and I used a few others, but that's it.
Love it. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, but before we get into On-Page.ai here, because there's something that that kind of led you to that. What helped you do this? Because you charge. I think any SEO consultant would love to charge $1,000 an hour for their SEO services, and then you actually bundled it into your process within the On-Page.ai tool that you have. But so I'm curious, before even getting there, before even you create a tool, what were your steps to become that SEO consultant that can command $1,000 from clients and they'll easily pay it?
Well, that came out. That was by accident, honestly. I was at a mastermind and someone said, "Hey, you need to offer consulting and charge." And I've actually been turning down clients these days because I'm focusing mainly on the bigger projects. But what happened is you need to solve, if you want to become an expert that charges a lot of money, you need to solve a big problem that people are having and then prove it. So what happened is I was able to solve a huge problem. I was in the business of recovering websites. So I figured out how to recover websites that were affected by huge Google penalties. So websites that had lost thousands, like 50% of their traffic, so millions of dollars in revenue. And I figured out how to recover these websites repeatedly. And then I was put on stage at some of the biggest SEO conferences in the world, like Traffic and Conversion. And I was at SEO Rockstars, and I was in a whole bunch of different places showing people like, hey, this is how you do it. And I've done it and I do it repeatedly. And then after that, digital calls came flooding in. So I started at someone in my mastermind, wrapping everything back up together, was like, hey, just offer some consulting. So I thought, okay, I'll offer at $300 an hour. Yeah. And within an hour, my inbox was full. And I just couldn't take all the calls. So I was like, okay, well, what do I do? So they're like, well, just increase your rates. So I was like, okay, I'll double it. So I put it to $600 an hour. And then people came in, there was even more people because then they're like, oh no, it's running out. So I was just like, I couldn't do it. And there's just too many. So now I was like, okay, I'm going to put it at $1,000 an hour and that'll solve it. And it didn't solve it. I ended up being overbooked because there was a lot of businesses hurting and a lot of businesses lost a lot of money. And honestly, every single person I've talked to at over $1,000 an hour, actually the highest I've ever charged was $2,000. I believe that they were the winners, and they got a lot more out of the call than I did, and that's kind of the value you have to bring to the table. So if you know, and you could come to the table, and you have a call with anyone, you could give them more value. They spend like $1,000 or $2,000 with you, but you're giving them, $500,000 worth of value because you're saving their website. Then you're a bargain.
Yeah, love it. Niche down. If you have a problem to solve, and they know the value of it, because if they have to spend only like a couple $1,000s, but like you said, you're actually gonna make them $500,000. Like the ROI for that $2,000 spent is well spent. And man, love it. Okay, we have Red Project here. This is probably the best episode, Dre, and thank you for you too. So many actionable insights. Well, let's get into more actionable insights here. So I want to go into more on now into your On-Page.ai. Now you've actually created a tool with all your processes in this tool. And I mean, I'm curious, like, so like can you tell us more of like why, like, you know, how, what were some of the top things of the On-Page.ai that it's very important that you help us out with?
Okay, so one of the best, I'm a big believer in having the best page online, and I'm a big believer in going for highly competitive terms. And I felt that like a lot of the tools out there just didn't do that. So that's kind of one of the things I wanted to focus on, was like highly competitive terms, optimizing it. So Google would think that you have the best possible tool for that query. And then once you have that, everything else becomes easy. So I'm not trying to cheat Google. I'm trying to give Google what it wants. And whenever you do that, that is going to help you rank. So the On-Page.ai actually came upon when I was not happy with any of the other tools, because I figured that they were all doing something wrong and I could do it better. And since then, we started kind of going on a route. So one of the things, by the way, just like, what were the other tools doing that weren't that great? Well, one of the things that I found was that they would give a lot of misleading results, and you needed to be an SEO or an SEO expert in order to interpret those results, disregard what wasn't accurate, and implement what was accurate. And I just, I've had a lot of conversations with the owners of those tools, and they're like, yeah, you just need to look out, you know, you need to figure out what's right and what's wrong. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. So I wanted to have something that was more accurate than what was out there. And the way we've done that is we kind of replicate how Google looks at things as closely as possible. So everything from identifying the main content and disregarding things like the advertisement, disregarding like the footer and so forth, we really focus in and we try to replicate exactly the process that Google goes through when they're looking at your pages. So we could give you insights on how to best create a page for that ranks. So that's how On-Page came to be. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to just share everything.
Love it. Okay, I'm curious. I mean, for those that don't even know, you know, like about On-Page.ai, you go to on-page.ai, and I mean, is there a way you can kind of give us a sneak peek in there and like kind of show us like kind of like some of the features that are inside there?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll do screen sharing if you want.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll do a quick thing. But essentially what you do, we have a whole bunch of features, but one of the ones that people use a lot is they are going to be, make sure it goes here. Let me do entire screen. Why not?
Yeah. Okay.
So one of the things that people use is going to be the On-Page tool, where it's very, very simple. You put in whatever word you want to rank for, and you put your URL. You don't even need to put in URL, and it just gives you word suggestions. So for instance, I have one, dating site for truckers. I think this will be fun. And then I have dating. There you go. It's an example that I have. And what you do is you click submit. You can choose whatever region you want. And we have local search engines in every single, like local searches in every single region. And then what it does is it goes on Google, looks at all the top sites that are ranking, and it will do a comparison with your page. This is not my page, by the way, but it'll do a comparison with your page and tell you how relevant the page is to the AI. So Google evaluates every single page these days with artificial intelligence, and it wants to answer the query. So what we do, one of the big distinctions is what we look at the overall relevance of your page for that query. So essentially, how relevant is your page? And in this instance, we have your page, which is slightly less relevant than the top pages. And then what we do is we give you word recommendations on what you could add to the page right over here. And the ones in red, you can just add to the page. I usually recommend adding the first 4 rows of words. And this is going to increase your relevance for the term. And once you're more relevant to the term, everything else being equal, you rank higher. Because Google ultimately wants to return the most relevant page for the query. Now we go so much further in this. There's so many cool things you could do. Let me show you something else. Okay. One other thing we do is we use, and by the way, this is all using Google's own natural language processing. What that means essentially is Google's own AI. They made this public, and you could pay them to use it. And essentially, it's how Google analyzes and understands words on the page. So we're going above just keyword density, and these are actually entities found by Google. And what we also use is we use Google's classification engine. So Google's AI also will classify English results. And here we can see that all the top results are landing in the online communities and dating personals category.
Yeah.
So if you had a page and it wasn't in this category and you want to rank number one, well, you're looking, okay, number one's in this category, number two, number three, number four, you kind of want to get into this category as well. It's another indicator to steer you in the right direction. And then what we'll do is we'll give you recommendations on how to get into this category if you're not in this category.
Oh.
So we're optimizing on a page level in terms of to give you the most relevant page. And also we're optimizing on a category level. And that's just kind of like the beginning of where this tool happened, like what we could do with this tool. I don't want to go over everyone's head, but we also have things like brief and outline. So if you ever use something like phrase, you put any term. Let me just show you like really quickly what it looks like. And it'll break down the entire search landscape, like all the pages. And then you could build yourself a brief here. So you can essentially click on anything and build a brief in seconds. Say, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. You could even expand these bullet points and say, okay, like I want to send this to my writer. I have this quote. And you could look at all the questions, like all the people also ask, all the related questions, all the Reddit questions, all the Quora questions, everything. You have statistics about the thing. And then you could build yourself a brief. You could send it to the editor. So you have a built-in editor. And then here in the editor, we also have your research, and we could tell you which words to add. So I could actually have the on-page report as well. So I could run this. And then you can have like so these are the words you would want to add into your text. So you could get your writers writing the most optimized content as quickly as possible. And we even have like one-click sharing. So you just share the link with your writers. They don't need to log in. It's, that's just the on-page stuff. But we also do link building.
Yeah,
I know
that's
I'm
interesting.
going too much. Maybe I need to let someone ask you a question.
Well, I mean, we had one question come in a little bit here, but I do want to get more into the link because Luther asks, how does your tool differ than a tool like Surfer?
Oh, that's a great question. It's a question I get a lot. And Surfer is one of those tools that I wasn't happy with, even though they're great. They have good marketing. I'm not trying to talk bad about them. Like I really think that they've done a lot for the industry, but I wasn't getting the results I wanted to get. Essentially, they kept on giving me quite misleading results because what they would do is they would scan the entire page. That was one of the things where they scan. When you take a look at a page, it'll, like, let's say, open up this page, or it'll take the sidebar. Actually, I'll just tell you, it'll take the things like the sidebar. It'll take stuff from the footer and the header. It'll take advertisements into consideration. And what we did right from the get-go was we developed an algorithm that identifies the main content on your page. So the article on your page, just like Google does. And we ignore things like the advertisement. So when you are getting your recommendations in terms of how many subheadlines you might want to have or how many images, with Surfer and other tools, I was often getting recommendations like, hey, add 30 H2 subheadlines, because those tools ended up using or looking at the sidebar, and there's a whole bunch of subheadlines on the sidebar, advertisement and all that. So ours replicates Google and looks at the main content. So the recommendations you're getting are for the main content. Same thing with the word recommendations right here, where I kept on getting recommendations that didn't make sense. And here, therefore, because they were looking at other things on the sidebar and advertisement and so forth. So here we kind of narrowed it down so the recommendations would be from the main content. So this is kind of one of the big distinctions. And that's kind of one of the things I wanted to get. Also, we optimize on a category level where they don't. And the other thing is we actually use Google's authentic NLP service. So the way to understand the words and return the words, the entities, essentially, there are many ways of doing it. There are free ways. There are ways where you could use an NLP clone, a natural language processing clone, and they use a clone. We use the authentic Google service. It costs more, but that we also feel like it gets better results. So those are going to be like some really quick distinctions, but we have to features like the predictive link building, predictive guest post, topical keyword that no one else has. So that we go way above and beyond. So I invite anyone to try it. But anyways, I don't want to bash anyone because I do think that they're doing a good job.
All right, Luther, I hope that answers your question there. But I mean, we got one that kind of leads us right into the next question here. Red Project asks, Eric, can you please share how to use your tool for link building? Okay, so link building, I'm glad you asked. One of the best things, and one of the things we found that works the best these days, is we don't use the power from like other
we love DR, we love UR, I love Ahref, I still look at it, but we focus more on relevance these days. So one of the things is if you want to build a link back to this website, right, or you want to rank this higher, one of the best links you could get is going to be from another website that is related, or another page that is related. So specifically, you would want to get a link from another page that lands in online communities and dating and personals. So essentially what we're doing is we're linking similar pages together. And this is classified by Google's NLP. So this is the category that you would want to get a link from. So then what we could do is we could go online and see what categories websites and pages land in. So let me give you an example. If ever you have, let me go in predictive link building right here. So predictive link building, you could put in a huge list of websites. I could put in domain.com, site.com, and so forth. Yeah. And it'll check which category these links fall into. So let me show you an example, a live example. Let's say you get a domain broker, a list broker. So here I have a list open, and what we have is this is a post link broker, and he has access to a whole bunch of sites. Now, you don't need to use guest posts. You don't need to use the broker or anything like that. You can have your own websites. You can do your own research. But this is just an example of they have a whole bunch of websites that are available, and you could get links from these. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to get unrelated links. The links that do the best, or the links that help the most, are going to be the ones that are highly related. So what you could do is you could copy paste the list into here, and then you click submit. And it will go and it'll tell you the category, the Google category for these websites. And then you could go and choose which website you want. So let me show you an example. You just load a quick example where this one. All right, okay, cool. So here I ran another link list. These are all potential guest post plays that just comes from my list. And what it does is it classifies what categories they're in. So here I have business, industrial, finance, investing, online communities, and I could click on, let's say I want a link from finance, I click on finance and it'll tell me all the ones that match, all the ones that land in finance. So learn to trade could be a great link if you want to get a finance link. So this is how we do link building, and we found that these links are a lot more effective than links from general websites or websites that are unrelated. So if I go back to my initial thing, I wanted to type, you could type it in here. So online communities, I wanted a link from online communities because that was what I was going for. So you just type this in, and it'll go and it'll tell you all these websites that that are related to online communities. So this one is related. I can scroll through. Maybe that'll be the only one from my list. Oh no, here's another one. So this was online communities as well. So these are the 3 websites I would want to essentially approach to get a related link from. And this all stemmed from the fact that we've actually discovered that Google loves related links more than anything else. And let me show you, and I'll just prove it to you right now. I'm sure a whole bunch of people can relate. We've actually received a link from a DR90 website. It was actually, Search Engine Land or something? They were doing a report, and there was a link from a do follow link for within a real article from a DR90 website. And when we received the link, you know what happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing happened. Even though it was a DR90 website, do follow within the article, and it didn't do anything because the website that it was linking to was completely unrelated. However, then we got a link from a DR10 website that was related, and we saw a significant increase. So this was kind of the proof or the power of getting related links. It was all about relevance over everything else. Now, don't get me wrong. I still want, like, if I could get a DR90 that was related, that would be the ultimate thing. So I still like Ahref, and I still use Ahref and look at the DR. But before I do that, I always make sure things are related. So that's kind of like how we use predictive link building. But there's so many other things, like predictive guest posts will actually look at the guest post itself and tell you which category it's in. So for instance, if you're writing a guest post or you're building a link back to your website, sometimes, or if you're putting out a press release, I use this for press releases as well, you want to see which category is going to land in before you publish it. Because once you publish it, it's out there, you can't change it anymore. So what you could do is you could load up text. I'm going to just load an example here. If you load up this text, let's say you were going to write this article and you want to basically give yourself a link, or you're going to post in this link, but you want to make sure this article lands in your business category, right? Or let's say you want to make sure it lands in the business category. So you paste your article in here and then you click submit, and it's going to go and it's going to tell you that this page lands in business and industrial /business services. So you could use this and kind of predict which category your page is going to land in, and that gives you 100% relevant links every single time. Wow. That means all your links are working. So this has been a huge game changer. I know we have a few agencies that are saving thousands of dollars a month because they changed their link building strategy to build on relevance instead of just raw DR. Mm-hmm. And that was actually one of the big game changers in our link building and SEO tactic, because some of these sites, they're charging like $450, $2,000, like $1,000, like it's just so much money, or even hundreds of dollars for links. And sometimes these do absolutely nothing. Well, meanwhile, you have like a $70 link or $40 link, but that will do so much more because it is highly related to whatever you're writing about. So that is my big thing, where we develop so many new tactics and things that honestly I don't see anyone else doing with this. So that's the thing I'm most excited about these days, is the relevant link building part of it.
Man, so many knowledge bombs dropped just by showing us that, and like a lot of concepts that we should be thinking about. I mean, yeah, that's so cool. Like how you can make sure like how relevance outperforms like the whole DR thing. Some great stuff there. So we got. I mean, if you can come back on camera here, I want to go ahead and if you guys have any more questions, please ask them live chat before I ask my last question here. But we had one here from Red Project. He asked another question and asked. He says, Eric, can one use your tool for like local SEO, like dentists?
Yes, for sure. Every single page on the internet actually is scanned by Google in a very similar fashion, and it's their artificial intelligence that looks at the page and determines the best page for the query. So we have a whole bunch of local agencies. Actually, most people actually are local agencies using our tool to optimize their page in their specific category, because every single category will return, or every single keyword returns different, has different metrics, and they look for different words, and the tool definitely helps you with that. And also, one of my friends, Dan, has a local agency. He's using that, he's saving tons of money every single month, because now the links that he's building are all going to be relevant links rather than just the most expensive links for his clients. So every single client just gets a whole bunch of relevant links back to his website, and he built himself a whole portfolio inside On-Page. And now whenever he gets a new client, he just goes through the list, gets all the most relevant links, and it costs him pennies instead of thousands of dollars now. So that definitely you can use it.
Love it. Okay, Saklin asks, snuck one in here. Best tool for topical relevance. I mean, isn't it On-Page.ai like topical? It does create topical relevance, right?
Well, essentially, if you use On-Page.ai, what we do is we'll help you optimize the page to be able, to give you a whole bunch of topical relevance. We have a topical keyword explorer inside that will tell you the category of these keywords. So what we like to do is we like to build a whole bunch of keywords and a whole bunch of content in that same category. So it doesn't, we don't do clustering, but we will help you rank better on Google with topical authority. So if you want to build a topical authority website, you just put a whole bunch of content that is optimized for that, and you're going to rank.
Love it. Okay, I didn't see any other questions come in, but this is the last question I ask all my SEO professionals that come on. I mean, if someone wanted to get into the SEO game, get into the SEO industry, what would your advice be to them?
If you want to get into the SEO industry, I'd have to say that you need a website. A whole bunch of people that I know, and even people that seem to be experts, don't have their own website that they work on each and every day. Like, build a website, rank it, and then the cool thing is you want to make money from it, because it's one thing to rank a website, but you learn so much more when you have to monetize it as well. So build a website, rank it, and do whatever you can to monetize it. And once you've done that, do it again, and then soon enough, after 3, you'll be pretty good at SEO. Like, you'll probably be better than 90% of people in SEO if you've built 3 websites that you've monetized, flipped, and ranked and flipped and everything. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, Brian snuck a question in here. Is clustering dead, Eric?
Clustering? No, clustering is great. I mean, you could one of the things, keyword clustering is great if you want to produce a whole bunch of content. My favorite content, honestly, is going to be writing about, we didn't talk about this, but it's going to be writing about terms that are going to exist in 6 months. So when you're really close within an industry, when you are right inside the industry, some of the best terms that you could write about don't exist yet. So when you're looking back at what's been written, then you are going after things that people are already ranking for. However, if you want to pave the way, and I actually have a case study that I did in virtual reality. So it's a competitive industry, but because I was writing about things right before they peaked, all my pages ended up ranking number 1. I got a whole bunch of links, a whole bunch of topical authority, and I didn't have to do much or any link building at all. So choosing your content, topical, like keyword clustering is important. You want to write about, you definitely want to get a whole bunch of content within the same subject, but the way you come up with the topics, I recommend that if you're starting a website, write about stuff that maybe no one else has written about, and you'll get links that way, and it'll be much easier to rank because you'll be the only one because no one's really talked about it. So it's a completely different approach. However, I believe that and I've actually proved that this works very well when you need to start a new website. So hopefully that answers it. It's good either way. Like I said, there's always different ways of doing SEO. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, I want to ask this question because you kind of mentioned this. Like, so how are you finding keywords that, like, you know, people are searching 6 months out?
Oh, it's great. It's a great question, and I do have processes and methodologies. Let me just tell you, one of the easiest ways is you look at press releases that are going out from major companies. So if you're in the industry, let's say you're in the tech industry or the monitor industry, you could look up all the manufacturers that are putting out press releases. And then you're going to know, they essentially in the press releases, there's going to be announcements for products that are going to be released in 6 months, in a year, and so forth. So when, let's say, GoPro comes out with the GoPro 8, well, you can start getting ready on the GoPro 9 before like a year before, and you're already going to be there talking about it before everyone else. And so I did this in the drones industry. I've done this in the gaming industry. I've done this in so many different industries where you could look up either patents, new research is being put out. You know what's going to come within 6 months. And you could look up press releases from a big company. You know which products are going to be released. The information is out there. And then what I like to do is I like to hit the trend right before. And of course, I use Google Trends. So I compare everything in Google Trends. And a lot of times what you could do is you could kind of see a peak. You could start seeing it just nudge up, like a keyword or a topic just nudge up, and you know it's going to kind of explode in popularity, and that's where you want to write about it. It's like a stock market where you don't want to pick stocks that have just passed, or you don't want to take things that are old now. You want to take things that are going to be the next big thing. So these days, I wouldn't write about fidget spinners, and I wouldn't write about CBD oil. I'd pick the next big thing. Like even I'd say, like a few years ago, I was actually, like, was it like 4 or 5 years ago? I was like, should I get into crypto? Like, because back then it wasn't mainstream, and now it is mainstream. So you just look at what's going to happen in 6 months, and you're going to make so much money, and it's going to be the easiest time. And I like to look, like I said, press releases. I like to look at patents, the research that's coming out. And when you're in the industry, it's a lot easier to know. Sometimes you could actually just email people and just ask them, like, what's going to happen in 6 months, and they'll tell you.
Oh my God. Woo! Man, you are on fire today. Love it. Love it. Love all those knowledge bombs. Okay, but you know, is there anything, any last word, any last advice that can make this episode feel complete for you? Please, like, let us know. And how can people get a hold of you?
Well, first, I want to say thanks, Paul, for having me. Like, this has been awesome. This has been a great show. And honestly, the best thing that people could do is just stay open to a whole bunch of ideas with SEO. SEO is a game, in my opinion. I know it's very serious when you're in it because it is a tool, but have fun with it and just go explore whatever there is no right way of doing SEO. So I don't believe in getting into any arguments or anything. Everyone could do it their own way and have fun with it. So that's my best thing. If anyone ever wants to find it, we have On-Page.ai, we have traffic research, and those are my contacts. But and we also even have a YouTube channel. But I mean, I think that just watching the SEO show is a great way to just get insights on everything that's happening.
Love it, love it. Everyone, let's give Eric a round of applause. Thank you so much. Brian says you two rocked it. Okay, so can you hold on one quick second while I sign off real quick? Just hold on just for one quick second. Yeah. All right, guys. That concludes another episode of the SEO Video Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And man, was that a lot of knowledge bombs. And I'll see you next week. Peace out.
Thank you for watching. Hope you come back next week. Make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss a thing. Hope you learn something new, cause the vibe is incredible. From the special SEO professionals, SEO video show, let's work. Want to see you be an SEO expert. Paul-Andre De Vera helping you step it up. No delay right now, time to level up. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Woo!